Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Music with Nat. Today I'll be reviewing the Elvis movie. This one was one of my most anticipated movies that was announced pre-COVID, and I was really excited about it. And really, there was a few years there where we had nothing about it, and there wasn't much buzz other than Tom Hanks being announced as playing one of the actors in the movie. But other than that, there wasn't much buzz until recently. Its release date, it's critically acclaimed, been a box office smash, and overall it's been pretty well received. The Elvis movie is Baz Luhrmann's next installment in his franchise of movies he's directed, and as to be expected with any of his movies, there's his usual style and glamour and honestly over the top, direction that he's always known for. So I think he was the best person for Elvis's movie because he's known as to be the icon, over the top presence, larger than life. Okay, so the Elvis story has been covered in many different formats by many different actors over the years. And for the most part, it's been really in jest. He's stereotypically, got really chubby in the back end of his years, being, quite obese, especially for someone who's so skinny. And that was really what they were playing on. As a massive Elvis fan, obviously you can tell, I really wanted to see a serious take on Elvis and just really a really serious biopic on his life, the ups and downs, what he experienced as the first major rock star to know what it's like to rise to fame and not have the support that he needed from people in his life. His meteoric rise and untimely demise is essential in telling Elvis' story, and I feel like for the most part they did a pretty good job. I thought they put a bit too much emphasis on his earlier years, and when in reality his years, he was active for about 3 years, then went away for the army and then came back, and that's when the mythos of Elvis really grew. So I thought that the movie did a pretty good job, but I thought that they put too much emphasis on his earlier years, going up in the 50s. Another part of the movie that I wanted to see probably more was definitely his acting side of the movie. I really think his acting is an integral part of Elvis' story and really shaped who he was as a musician later in his life. And I feel like in the movie, they were obviously controlling time, so they couldn't go too over the top, but I feel like they could have accentuated his acting and its importance on his career more later in the movie, rather than take so much time on the beginning parts of his life. Overall, the big question for me was Austin Butler good? Did he portray Elvis the way I thought he should have, or the way people wanted to see it? And honestly, he was amazing. The mannerisms, the way, even his singing, the voice. Not many actors can get Elvis's voice right. It's very hard with his accent, so he did a really great job. I expect him to probably get nominated for a Best Actor award. I don't know if he won it or not, but I think he did an excellent job, well above what I expected. Honestly, I was just excited for Tom Hanks in this movie, and unfortunately he didn't hit where I wanted to, but that's just me. So overall, the movie was really well acted. Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks. You know what you're going to get. At worst, you'll get a 7 out of 10. He's really reliable, really good actor. I just don't think this role suited him very well. Now, the accent was very off-putting throughout the movie, for me personally. I just feel like in times of the movie, it really took away from the story. And the accent was over the top at times. And obviously seeing him in a fat suit was very off-putting at times, knowing that Tom Hanks is actually pretty skinny. So that was really did take away from the movie at times. And like I said, I really wanted to see them delve more into Elvis' story, and this movie was really a focus on the relationship between Elvis and his manager. And I think that the movie should have focused more on Elvis, especially with how fitting Austin Butler was in the titular role for the movie. Overall, I've seen the movie 2 or 3 times now since release. It's been about 3 months since release. I've seen it 3 times with different people. It holds up. I'm not usually one to watch movies more than once, but being an Elvis fan, I wanted to go back and make sure it's still held up upon multiple viewings. Austin Butler, every time I see the movie or see clips online, his performance really does impress me. And you can tell because post-production, he still has some of the inflections of Elvis because of how he spent 2 years getting inside the head of Elvis and really becoming Elvis, the person. And so overall, I was very impressed with the movie. I thought that Baz Luhrmann's soundtrack choices are always interesting. He loves to blend older artists like Elvis's music and newer artists like Eminem was in the credits. Doja Cat as well was another big one in there. So I feel like he does a really good job of getting younger audiences to make connections between Elvis and the new generation of artists coming through. And as a result, you've seen a resurgence of Elvis on TikTok and Austin Butler's performance as well. So I feel like in that regard, in trying to bring Elvis to a new generation, the movie did a really good job. Obviously, as an Elvis superfan myself, I probably would have wanted some more detail in certain parts of his life. And honestly, as dark as it sounds, I probably wanted to see more of his demise. I feel like it was very skipped over. It was very much comeback special, skipped to his final years, and it felt very rushed. I feel like the movie in parts was very rushed, especially towards the back end. I feel like they skipped over some integral parts of his life that I would have looked at, and I think that they had a bit of an over-reliance on Tom Hanks. I do understand why Tom Hanks was relied upon. He's a very great actor, and he can carry a movie. He has carried many movies, but I really think that when they noticed the chemistry that Austin Butler has with Elvis, as Elvis, with Tom Hanks and other actors, they probably should have leaned more towards Elvis, because at times it felt like we were seeing Colonel Parker's full life story, only getting snippets of Elvis, which I think does take away from the movie. If I had to give it a rating after all this time, I'd probably say a 7, and that's probably being a little too lenient, but I think there were things they could have fixed. I think Baz Luhrmann came out and said there was a 4-hour cut. No one wants to see that. That is too long. Even for me, I wouldn't do that. I think the movie at times is pretty long. I think there was, for example, I went to watch the movie with someone, and in the scene where Elvis gets on the plane, it's this 10-minute scene of him saying goodbye to his Priscilla and his daughter Lisa. The person next to me fell asleep, and I can understand why. That scene, certain scenes like that, I really felt like dragged on too long. One other part that I thought was really good though was they did capture the hysteria of Elvis and the way he overtook teenagers at the time. There's one particular scene where Austin Butler and Elvis is wearing a pink suit, and he sings "That's Alright Mama," and the hilarious contrast between his singing and the hysterics of the people watching was really, really great to see. So overall, I think this is easily the best bit of media put out on Elvis. I think it does a great job in bridging that gap between the new generation of people who might not know who Elvis is, or only know him from the stereotypes you see in movies and TV, and keeping the older fans and the older generation happy as well. Overall, a pretty good movie. One of the best movies of this year, I'd say, so far as well. And Austin Butler really is mesmerising, and I really think and I really hope he should get nominated for an award. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If not, too bad, I guess. I'm kidding. I'll see you guys next time.